welcome all of you to this engagement. I also wish to appreciate the fact that you have sacrificed some other important engagements to honor our invitation. The purpose of the engagement, as has been already indicated, in the year 2024, that is in the 8th Parliament, which was referred to the committee, and what happened afterwards, and also to outline what the committee proposes to do with the agreement which is currently before the committee. On 16th July 2024, the then Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Abu Jinapo, laid before Parliament a lithium agreement between the Republic of Ghana and Barari DV Ghana Limited. And the purpose was for Parliament to ratify the agreement in accordance with Article 268, Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution. The agreement, which was referred to the Committee on Lands and Natural Resources, had engagements with stakeholders. The ministry was engaged, Minerals Commission was engaged, and other stakeholders were engaged. I wish to indicate that the chiefs of the area appeared before the committee. During the consideration of the agreement, two important issues came up. One was legal, and the other was treatment. Even though committee members, and we knew the challenge being that Parliament out 2006 Act 703, and subsequently amended that act in section 25. And in these two laws that I have referred to, in the main one, that is Act 703, the royalty set out in the act was a range between 3% and 6%. I wish to read that for the avoidance of doubts. a holder of a mining lease, that is section 25 of Act 703. A holder of a mining lease, restricted mining lease, or a small-scale mining lease shall pay royalty that may be prescribed in respect of minerals obtained from the mining productions to the Republic, except shall not of the total revenue of minerals obtained by the holder. Then, in 2010, this provision was amended, and the flat rate was so the 2010 amendment, Amendment Act 2010, dated, and it says, in 25 of Act 703 amended, the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, as amended by the Constitution 25 of royalties. A holder of a mining lease, restricted mining lease, or small-scale mining license shall pay royalty in respect of minerals obtained from its mining operations to the Republic at the rate of 5% of the total revenue earned from minerals obtained by the holder. So at the committee, we looked at the 10%, which I have considered that was going to bring us more revenue. But gatekeepers of the law, we enacted the law. And the agreement that was presented to us also derived its authority from Act 703. It was extremely difficult for us to pass an agreement which contained a provision which was at variance with the provision of the law. So we advised the minister then to take steps to amend the law in order that Ghana will benefit more by way of royalties. That didn't happen. A report was not presented to the House, and so that was it in respect of the legal challenge. The second challenge was this. The 10%, because it was not provided for by law, but was provided for in the agreement between Ghana and Barari DV Ghana Limited. What it means is that it was only Barari DV Ghana Limited which was going to pay royalties on lithium at 10%. Whilst the other mining giants like Newmont, like Goldfields, like AngloGold and others were going to stay on at 5%. We felt it was unfair and also discriminatory. And so based on these two, the legal challenge and this unfairness in the market, we advised the minister to take steps to amend the law to reflect what he put in the agreement. That was the challenge. But we didn't see how we're going to recommend 10% to the House when indeed the source or the authority of the agreement frowned against the 10%. So the report never was presented to Parliament. So anybody who says that the minority rejected is misleading the House. The committee is inaccurate and also misleading, because the report was not, no report was presented to the House for the House to debate and ratify or not ratify. That is what it is. Now, with the present administration, Honorable Ama Kofi-Boa, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, has presented an agreement between the Republic of Ghana and Barari DVD Ghana Limited on lithium. In that agreement, government did not specify any percentage, but said that royalty will be paid as prescribed by law. What it means is that what is prescribed by law at the moment is 5%. Revenues generated from a 5% revenue, 5% royalty and 10% royalty can never be the same. The preference is to have 10% or more. But the same condition that was raised in the previous regime arises. The law has to be amended. The law has to be amended. So, what it means is that this law, which is the current on royalties, Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2010, Act 794, has to be amended to up the rate from 5% to whatever percentage the minister so wishes. Certainly, the amendment will end up in Parliament for Parliament to consider and pass. I can see, talking to many people in this country and also in Parliament, that the preferred number is 10. But we don't have the capacity to say it's 10%, 11%, or 12%. That lies with the minister. So that has to be left with the minister. The committee has advertised the agreement, seeking public opinion on the agreement. I am aware, and I've read several views and positions on the lithium agreement which is before us. I wish to state that the committee is not in a hurry to pass without taking the views of the public on board. So we cause an advert or a publication to be made in the newspapers from the 13th of this month to the 27th of this month. It is our hope that interested persons, CSOs, NGOs, and people who are knowledgeable in this field will present memoranda to the committee. Besides that, the committee will invite some people that we think can help us to analyze the agreement before ratification. Anybody who wants to appear before the committee to share his or her views with us on this lithium agreement is also invited or welcome to share his views with us. We will not ratify until we have done extensive engagement with critical stakeholders in this country or beyond. After which, we can proceed to submit a report on the ratification to the House. Let me also indicate that because of the attention that the royalty rate has attracted in the country, I wish to state that it is our wish that the minister presents the amendment to the act so that the committee will take the amendment alongside the agreement. It is our wish that we are able to take the two simultaneously without creating a vacuum. Before ratification, the law should be in place specifying what percentage will be the royalty rate, so that when it is ratified, the law will be in place to deal with all miners or mining companies in the country. The benefits that we stand to benefit is that if it is provided by law, whilst lithium or the company mining lithium will be paying 10% or whatever percentage the minister will bring, the other mining companies will also pay same. Unlike previously when Barari alone was asked to pay 10% royalty while the others were paying 5%. We want to ensure equity in the market, not unfairness in the market. We also wish to indicate to the public that Parliament, and for that matter Ghana, seeks to enhance benefits derived from mining in the country. Everybody is concerned about the benefits that Ghana derives from mining, and therefore every step that has to be taken to ensure that we benefit more in the mining sector would be taken to ensure that. With this, I thank you very much for attending and also for your attention. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair of the committee. I've seen about 3 ladies, so now I can say ladies and gentlemen.
You are right.
Please, we've heard the chairman, so that anyone who has any question, we are limiting ourselves to 5 people because we are hard pressed with time. Even you yourself, you have another engagement. So you raise up your hand, just go straight to the point. After that, the chairman will address those questions. If there are some gaps, the two of us will come and fill in those gaps. Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Quick Musejidanso. Public engagement. Would it go beyond the first meeting of the second session with your public engagement?
Okay.
Chairman, thank you for the opportunity. I want to be guided that from my layman's understanding, I know laws do not take retrospective effect. And so if you ratify the act again and you ask those who are currently operating under the old one to now move to the 10%, would that be fair to them? And secondly, we are told that some community members' lands have been applied for some of these things, and lives, their livelihoods are on break now, how long do they wait for you to finish this before they go back to their works? Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
I'm also here. But
Simon, and
I'm
then
in a short meeting. I'll come back. First one is engagement beyond this meeting.
Hello. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank you for setting the record straight. But I want to find out from you, when you raised the concern, then what was the response from the then majority
the law
caucus?
doesn't do persecute.
What was the response from the then majority caucus? Because we have been told that the NDC then kick against the approval, the ratification of the deal. So is it the case that the then majority was trying to break the law in favor of the country, or what?
Okay, one second.
Yeah, Joel.
No,
It's classical. My name is
Oh.
Very classical. I just need this clarification. First of all, though the state paid its royalty at 5%, here is a company willing to pay 10%. It means we're just being benevolent to the country. Does that mean that even if the law pays it at 5% and the firm wants to pay beyond that, because probably the law gathers so much, they are willing to pay more? Why should we reject that as a state?
The last one.
My name is Nia Ibrook. I work with CTFM and ChannelOne CP. I remember when the last minister addressed the media on the day of laying the agreement, he indicated that the 5% royalties as a result of the decline in the prices of lithium on the global market. It would be unfair to charge more than that should the agreement be laid. Now the question is, if you bring the agreement or amend it to charge probably more than 5%, wouldn't that be unfair to Barari DB? And aside that, if you are also trying to make it a point that all other mining firms should also pay similar rates, what if the others are generating more than Barari DB? Wouldn't that be unfair treatment? Thank you.
Okay. The same question, right? So the chairman will respond to the five questions. But the first one that you asked, if you heard the chairman right, he said we are not in the rush to ratify the agreement. So even if it will travel to the next sitting, why not? We need to get a buy-in from the general public before we proceed. So it can travel to the next sitting, provided we are doing what is right. So the chairman will take care of the remaining
before
questions.
Chairman comes. Chairman, before you come in, I was one of the key members of parliament who raised issues when the disagreement was led by the then minister, Abu Jinako. We pointed out the fact that he was trying to contract against the law, and therefore the terms of the agreement must align to the terms of the existing law. If they were minded to contract that way, then the law must be updated to align with the terms of the agreement. In other words, the law must be amended. They failed to come to amend the law, or they refused to come to parliament for the law to be amended. I still have a copy of the agreement he brought to parliament. And today he appears to be speaking like the PRO for the company. And that is totally unacceptable. We have allowed him to say a lot of things. The circumstances under which he rushed to parliament at the time, we needed things to be done properly in accordance with the law. He refused to until they left power. And NDC having gotten the opportunity, we want to do things in accordance with the law. So, yes, the agreement must have been brought back, but the law must first of all be amended to align with it. And that is all the chairman had said. So nobody should stampede this government into doing this without first of all amending the law. And that will be done. And the fact that this may spill over to next year, It's all part of how Parliament works. You know, we are in the budget season, and budget matters takes precedence over any other matter. In any case, this is before the committee, and the committee has scheduled a lot of meetings to look at it. So when the committee is ready with a report, it will come to plenary. You will be at the press gallery. You will hear the debates, you will hear the issues, so you can convey them. So let the public know that whatever we are doing is in the utmost interest of everyone, especially the people from within the enclave where the concession is situated. We are doing everything possible to protect their interest, you know. And so they must trust the government on that. Chairman, if we can take the rest of the issues, then we can bring this one.
Yeah, to add to what the Majority Chief Whip said, government has served notice in the 2026 budget statement at paragraph 475 that it is going to review the mining policy of Ghana and also to review the Minerals and Mining Act of the country. If you don't mind, I'll read that. Mr. Speaker, to align laws with global standards, the Minerals and Mining Policy 2014 and Act 703 2006 are under review. So clearly, government is taking steps to review the laws and importantly to review the policy relating to mining in the country. So we just have to, as gatekeepers, we make the laws and we expect the laws to be implemented. We expect the laws to be obeyed. We cannot make laws expecting implementation and obedience and at the same time do something that runs against the law. It doesn't work like that. We just have to make sure that the right thing is done. We never rejected. As I said, we advise the minister to take steps to amend so that it is in line with what the law says. We never rejected. And so for anybody to say that it was rejected, it's unfortunate. How would the rejection be made? At the committee level, we stated our position, which resonated with the other members. So everybody said, the minister then take steps to amend, which never happened. Then the response of the majority at the time, they appreciated our position where it was grounded on law. We stated the position of the law and asked which other way could be used to address it. So almost everybody agreed that the minister rather should do the needful. That's what happened. What was wrong if we are taking 10%, we was going to bring in more revenue? I mean, I've indicated, I've said that the 10% certainly will bring more revenue than the 5%. But as gatekeepers, can we close our eyes at the law? If it was a situation where nothing could be done, then we'll say that let's close our eyes. But there is something that can be done, or that could be done. And that was to amend the law to reflect the 10% that he put in the agreement. Thank you very much.
So we are drawing the curtain down, but let me give the last opportunity to my good friend.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Honorable, we want to understand in simple terms. Does it mean that the 10% was illegal? That is the understanding we want to carry
No.
from here.
No. The 10% was a proposal. Now, when Parliament is called upon to ratify an agreement, Parliament can speak to the terms and determine whether or not the terms of the agreement are in accord with the existing laws. So the rate proposed was above the rate stipulated in law. And so Parliament cannot be ratifying a figure that is higher than the ceiling that Parliament itself inserted in the law. So if we are minded to ratify a figure that is higher than the 5%, then what Parliament ought to do is either to bring the 10% down to 5%, or alternatively bring the legislation to amend the existing law to accord with the proposed 10%. And the most favorable thing to do, because it will give you more revenue, is not to bring legislation to amend the figure to up it from 5 to 10. It's very simple. So so it's not an issue of legality or non-legality. It's about the fact that if there's a term in an agreement that Parliament is called upon to ratify, Parliament must ensure that it's in compliance with the law. If it is not, and it's more favorable than the existing framework, then the framework must be amended to capture it. So that is the situation that we have. So the amendment will come, and once it's up to 10 or more than 10, then the proposed 10 that is in the existing contracts will be lawful for us to ratify. Then everybody can have its piece.
Yeah, to add.
About, you mentioned that if this is amended, you may call for other companies who are operating on the 5% to also adjust to the new one, whichever percentage they agreed. I was asking if it is the right thing to do for the law to take a retrospective effect on those operating on the first one. Answer.
What that would mean is that if for instance we proceed to amend the law and say that now royalty payments will be capped at say 12%, all right, those mining giants that are already operating, they have existing contracts. So periodically those contracts come up for review. It is when those review times come that we may be reviewing the rates. But will not do so whimsically. You understand me? So it will be going forward. The law cannot apply retroactively. So going forward, any further review or any future review will take into account the new existing framework, which will be from 5% to say 12%. So the 10% proposed in the Lithium agreement would have been in accordance with the law, because it's not above what has been inserted new freshly, which will be 10 or 12. All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen for the media, we thank you very much for coming. You have been fed with the information. So now you are better placed to also explain the issues to the general public. And when the committee is sitting, we also invite you again. It will be taken live so that you can also make your input, so that we incorporate every suggestion that you bring to make sure the right thing is done and we derive the necessary benefit for our nation. We thank you very much for your time. May God bless us. Thank you.
Hey, my brother, how are you? I'm fine.